Welcome to Southern Soul Chats, where this season we will be diving into the stories of individuals who have navigated the deeper waters of faith. I'm your host, Dr. Miranda Ferguson, and together we'll explore the journeys of people who've taken that courageous step forward in their faith. Get ready to be inspired as we uncover the incredible stories of unwavering belief and the remarkable impact it's had. If you're excited to join us on this faith-filled exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Let's step forward. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Southern Soul Chats. It is March and I hope that you are enjoying this nice go into spring weather. If you're here in the Texas area, it's finally not cold and we're thrilled about that. But if you're still in an area where it's cold, it's coming, so don't worry. You're going to get your warmer weather soon. Again, thank you for being here today. This week's episode is titled Jackpot, and you'll soon find out why we would have an episode titled Jackpot. I am super excited to have my guest today. And I know you're thinking you say that every week, but this week is like super exciting because my guest is actually not just a guest that has a great story, but she's a friend. She's like family. So I love her dearly. And this is literally, we have chatted for 7 years. So this is like just another day of us chatting, which is exciting because I love her story and I love her and her family. And they're a big part of our story here in Texas. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the most famous person in my life, which is Serap Loh. Thank you for coming today, Serap.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here.
Well, I am honored to have you here. So let me just tell you guys again, if you don't know our story about coming to Texas, it's in the first 3 episodes, season 1. So I would encourage you to go back. But let me tell you why this woman is super special to me and to those that know hers, because when we moved here, of course, we knew nobody. We knew nobody at all. And here we show up in this neighborhood on this street. We don't have a church family yet. We'd have no friends. Again, we know nobody but the people who came here with us, which was our family, some kids and 2 adults. And Serap was one of the neighbors on the street who just immediately tried to help and came over and established relationship. She was a member of the church that we go to now, along with a few other people in the street. So she helped to encourage us to become a part of that church. One of my biggest memories of moving here and barely knowing her was her inviting Brody, who's now 13, over to swim with her son just to give us a break, to be able to not have one more kid in the house. And she brought me cleaning supplies, and she came over and asked me if she could make me meals and cook. And I was like, who is this woman? She's amazing. And she's been like that, y'all, for 7 years. We chat, we do life together. Our families do life together. We spend time in our cul-de-sac together. We go to church together. We might as well just live together soon.
Well, that might happen.
You never know. It could happen. But she is by far one of the kindest, most generous, biggest hearted people that I've ever met. And I don't know if I ever really tell you that enough, but there's nobody else quite like you.
You're so sweet.
It's the truth, because I wouldn't lie.
Oh, gosh. No, I don't say that, but I don't see myself that way.
I would be like, this is Serap. We're glad to have her today. But I'm not telling them all that to make you blush or make you nervous. It's just, it's in a moment for me of reflecting of the goodness of God, because he literally plucked us up from one state, dropped us in another one. And what felt like we had nobody, quickly we had a family here. And you're a big part of that. And so it's just reflecting back on God's goodness and reminding me to thank him for the gifts and treasures he gives. And you're certainly one of those for me. And so I might not tell you that enough, but I love you and thank you for making the last 7 years in Houston great, because we love it here. But it's not just because we're here. It's because I know we're where God put us, and he ordained the relationship that I have with you and others here. And it's so special to me.
Well, I love you also. And I want to let you know, and everyone know that you are really special, how you pull people together. I mean, you changed our street. and you connected everyone, the people that I never talk. We started talking. You have these gatherings, and then with your beautiful spirit and lively spirit, I mean, you're a joy. You're a joy on our street, and
our street really became like a big family.
Yes, it is a yeah. That's
I don't feel
how
like
it
anybody
feels.
else in this neighborhood. I feel like that we're the only street, and that like I'm in everybody's business, and not in a weird way. I just love our neighbors and our people, and we do life together.
Yeah,
like
I'm very proud
we
of
just
us.
do life together.
Oh yeah, I'm really happy. I feel very, very blessed.
Yeah, we are.
To know you.
And like I said again, it's not because of me. It's because of God, and it's how you know. I think that's how you know sometimes where you're just where you're supposed to be, because everything just goes a certain way. And man, I couldn't imagine living anywhere else in this great state of Texas. I couldn't imagine doing life with anybody else. Every day I'm just thankful, and because I just know it's not like that everywhere else. So I know that God placed us here and ordained us for this time. And it's really special. Who would have known 7 years ago we'd be sitting here doing a podcast?
and I want to mention our neighbor, and more importantly, she's more to me than being a neighbor, Bambi.
Oh yeah,
and our
Bambi. So
sweet
listen,
friend.
so
She's
Bambi,
in the story.
Yeah, she's in this story. She's my direct neighbor.
Yes.
Like literally my neighbor. And she's been here for forever, and you'll hear about her. But one way you've heard about her and didn't know it is also in those first 3 episodes, she lended us her house because there was some stuff happening in my house and I couldn't podcast here. And her infamous bird started tweeting, and we made the bird famous. No, I don't know usually famous. It was just funny because we couldn't get the bird out, and we even say, "This is my neighbor's bird." So Bambi is all intertwined in your story. She's intertwined in my story. She's intertwined in the story of this street.
Yes.
She's almost like the matriarch of our road.
Yes.
And y'all, I can't even tell you enough about her and what she's done. But again, it's just,
you have to interview her.
Yeah. It's just it's just how God places, right? Like how he ordains relationship and placement. And again, you're going to hear a lot about Bambi today, so I'm glad you said that, because
But there is
like,
a
who's
reason.
Bambi?
Yeah, there's a reason I said that, because in her house there's a saying that I cannot exactly repeat, but I think the way God bless us, the good friends. So I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's definitely nothing's done by mistake. It's God has a grand divine plan, and I think sometimes we skip over some of the things that seem just so natural, like friendships and the way relationships happen. But I honestly believe, and I believe it's scriptural, that God has a plan, and he places everything you need, from people to places to money to situations. And he certainly, because you got to remember, 7 years ago, I didn't know that this is where I would be. 7 years ago, I had a plan.
Amazing.
And it didn't look like this plan. Let me tell y'all, my plan, this was nowhere on the radar. It wasn't even like a hint of a thought of a childhood dream. It was nothing. And I can look back. God is so good at allowing me to look back and see how everything that happened, including people, spaces, places, and time, led up to this moment, and how each of you and Bambi, and there are several others, y'all were a big part of the setup for that. And so again, it's nice to take a minute to go back and go, let me reflect on the goodness of God. So like today, while you're listening to this, I challenge you to take a moment and look at what's happening in your life right now, good or bad, and look at the people that God's surrounded you with, who he's named your crew, and take a moment of just thanking him for that, because that's a gift. This is a gift.
Yes.
And so don't take that lightly. Don't take it lightly. Not you and not our listeners, not me. Today, take a moment just to say, thank you, Lord, and be specific. Thank you, Lord, for this person and what they've done in this way, and that person. Because like I said, they're a gift, and they're to be treasured in your heart.
Well said.
Yeah. So there you go. There's our first we're just going to put that out there today. Again, this is literally like the chats that Serap and I have. She comes over and we spend an hour and we talk about everything in the world, and she tells me all her stuff and I tell her all my stuff, and then we go a little while longer and do it again. So this is like a normal thing that happens with us. Each of the content chats we have, but that's not what we brought you here all today for, but we definitely couldn't miss that moment. What I want to tell you about Serap is that she has an amazing God story. And I am not even going to try to do it justice by giving you any prompt or any lead into it. I just really want to dive in to her telling you where it all began and then how it developed. I know this story well, and I'm still excited to hear it again because it's one of the most fascinating stories that I've ever heard. And I've heard lately a lot of stories, but yours has a different twist. That
supernatural.
It makes it. It is definitely a God story, but I think what makes it so unique, and what will make it unique for our listeners as well, is that because you're not from the United States, there's something that only could happen because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so that's what I love about this story. So here we go. So Sarah, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. So let's just start from the beginning. Where you're from, what your childhood was like, what faith was like for you during that time, or what it wasn't like for you during that time. And then we're gonna just go on a journey today. We're gonna chat.
Okay. So I'm from Turkey, Istanbul. And I went to school and finished high school and then got into medical school. And, that's what all I wanted, to be a doctor. And there was not faith in my life. There was, I believed in God. And I remember when I was in elementary school and I was, on the floor praying for God for something that I really wanted my parents to buy this house across from our house. And I prayed day and night, and guess what? They bought it. But it was, it's a Muslim, Islamic religion, but my family was never your typical Muslim family. And Turks are that way. I mean, used to be that way. Of course, I haven't been there like how many years now, 30 years maybe. The time that I remember, we were very different than the rest of the Islam countries, the way we are. We are more westernized. We watch movies and we live our lifestyle is more like. Yet, we have our culture. We have our things, traditions that we do. And my parents were not really religious. They didn't practice. Once in a while, my mother fast maybe, and we celebrated special holidays. It was pretty much it. And I remember drawing God when I was a child with two big eyes, because she used to tell me God sees everything. That's all probably she passed to me. And other than that, I look around and look for God, signs, faith. I wanted to know Him more, but it wasn't happening.
So in Turkey, because clearly, most of us here in the United States, like before I even met you, I didn't know anybody from Turkey. I knew it was a place, but I'd never been there, clearly. So during the time when you were there as a child, what were most people, how was faith there? Like, what do most people believe? What's the culture there as far as religion for most people in Turkey?
I can't talk for most because, you see, Istanbul is a very cosmopolitan city. And when you go to east, south, you might find very different, like black and white.
Right.
And then Istanbul. And the people that I was surrounded with, especially, they were more atheist, agnostics, or your average believers. And they never impose anything on you. And they just, they believe. And
so they either believe or they don't believe.
They don't, yeah.
But each to their own, pretty much.
Yes. And everyone saved. The people I knew, they saved it to themselves. They didn't share anything.
So like church wise here, especially in the Bible Belt, let's just focus on that. Because that's primarily where I've been raised, is in this like Bible Belt of states. You know, there's a lot of Southern Baptist, Catholic, Methodist, and then the rest kind of fall in. So does Turkey have one type of denomination that stands out more? Is there more Catholic or more
similar? I mean, they believe the same book, Quran, but they are coming from. We call them Sunni, Shia, and there's another one. But and to me, it never. I mean, I didn't really bother to go learn much about it because I wasn't interested at all.
Well, and if your family didn't really push it,
yes, and I never understood why they had to be divided like that. But it wasn't so much apparent to me because I was really outside that world.
Right.
Yeah, and the church going, it didn't make sense to me, or the way they pray, and then I don't know everything.
If you're not raised in that, it doesn't really matter. It's not a cultural thing, right? If you're not raised in that, then it could seem odd and peculiar. Like, why did these people do this? Because it's not a foundation that was in your life. Like, to me, I was raised in a Southern Baptist church, and I've said it a million times, like, good Lord, we were there every time the doors open. So for me, looking at a non-believer and going, well, I don't understand how you couldn't believe this. Like, how is this not just second nature? And as I've become an adult and clearly more in tune with what God's word is, I understand that, we all have choices and God gives us choices and families live different ways. So it's not odd to me that you would say, oh, why did they pray that way? I don't think it's odd. You know what I mean?
Yes, but I'm from there.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the people who are Turkish or from other, Islamic religion, and anyone listening to me, they are going to say, woman, what's wrong with you? Where have you been? And I don't know. I mean, so many things influenced me, but in my heart, deep down, I believed God, and I searched for God for years. I prayed to find faith. I looked for Him. But I couldn't. Anything around me that was available was not the answer. And Quran certainly was not the answer. I read Quran. It even pushed me away.
Oh, wow. The opposite
effect. Yes. I mean, it's just so sad that I say that, but that's how it was.
Why did you feel like it pushed you away?
I don't know the way, when you read Bible, there is Jesus's word. That's, first of all, that's what got me in. There is the God component. I mean, it's God's word. You know it in your soul. When I read Quran, to me, it feels like it was taken from here and there, and
it doesn't feel authentic.
There are rules, and about women and men, and I couldn't feel God's presence, honestly, and I can't explain why. That's me.
Right.
Yeah, and it didn't speak to me.
Yeah, that's good though, for lots of reasons.
Yes, but for a while I was agnostic, and I appeared to be atheist because peer pressure.
So hold on. At what age? So what age would you say you really took that on as saying, okay, you know what?
High school. Okay. And at high school, it wasn't as prominent, but when I was in medical school, we were separated in groups. There were believers, people who cover their hair, and then they fast. They didn't drink. I mean, they follow all the rules that. And us, the rebels.
You said us.
Us, people like me who rebelled, and we like everything Western, and we do stuff. They are not necessarily right things, but. It's just I cannot find any word to define really. We were just rebels. We thought we know better.
Do you think being a medical school, because of the fact that it's a science-based field, do you feel like that fueled you leaning more towards an unbelief because science says that these things, we have proof of these things, and this is what, especially being a doctor, right? Like there are rules within being a doctor. There's procedures that you follow being a doctor. Do you think any of that education played into the fact that you were searching and couldn't find anything, but also at the same time, like God's not in a textbook, right? Like he's not in a procedure or a rule. And so was it easier to fall into like, this is life and these are procedures and rules? Like, do you think it was easier to fall into that? Because that's what you were being taught through your medical school program?
You would think that, but no, that's not it. I even had some professors that were telling how perfect our body created or, made perfectly, that, you challenged us not, how we can't believe in God. I mean, I remember that, and it stuck with me, the perfection. I mean, how can this happen by itself? I remember, a few people questioning that, and they were believers, but they were Muslims. But it didn't. I didn't hear it. I didn't see it. It didn't. It didn't go to my cortex. I don't know. It didn't go to my soul.
So during college, you just kind of were
studying really hard.
Yeah, like, I mean, like we're in the sense of like
growing up.
Religion and domination wasn't important. You were focusing on your school, your studying, and aspiring to be a doctor.
Yes. And
which you accomplished, and then failed to mention that when I met you. It took a really long time before you even fessed up that you were a doctor. Like Sarah didn't tell anybody. Like I'm sure people knew, but like she was not like, "Hi, I'm Serap," and as the relationship developed, and I'm a doctor. It took a long time before she accidentally slipped up and told me.
because I'm not working as a doctor.
Doesn't matter, you're still a doctor.
Yeah, I know. That's what they say in Turkey too. Once you graduate, you're a doctor. But I don't know. I don't see it that way.
That was a side note. So sorry. It was a side note. But okay, so you're in college, you're working, you're studying to be a doctor, but you're in a place of just like kind of blank space. Like that's it. That's all you're doing and focusing on.
No, not just that. Of course, trying to become someone, because the way my parents raised me, they were overprotective parents. So I matured really, really late. And so I was trying to be independent, which still under my dad's roof, that was impossible.
Right.
Yeah, the rules I gotta follow. And I wasn't a bad girl. I was trying to survive and be someone. And I wasn't thinking about fate or anything. But I wanted, deep down, I've seen people with faith, and I said, how do they have faith? And I never understood that. I really deeply, deeply wanted to know that. I asked God. I prayed God. I started praying God strangely in the middle of medical school. Our medical schools are 6 years. And I started praying for my family, praying for someone that I can share my life with, because I have boyfriends, and I got engaged, and I decided that I will never be able to find someone that I can share life with. And I said to myself, probably you'll be alone for the rest of your life.
You're going to be the old doctor lady
and
forever.
I was seeking to outside. I wanted to go out of Turkey. It was wearing really, really heavy in my heart. I used to go to bed and dream. Not dream. I mean, it's not a dream, but almost like
daydream.
Yes. Think that I am not here and I speak English, or I'm speaking English with someone, or everything that I visualized wasn't in Turkey. Is so weird to me to this day. And
it's especially weird when we get to the point of how you're not in Turkey anymore.
I'm not in Turkey, and there was no hope or sign that I could go anywhere. The only thing I did is that my high school was a special high school. It's difficult to get in one on those days. It's English, all the math, except Turkish and history. Everything was taught in English, but I wasn't fluent at all. My English wasn't really good either. But that, 7 years going to that school definitely helps. Mm-hmm. And when I almost finished school, I wanted to look for internships in England. So I got a fellowship for, I should say internship. It's not a fellowship, but for, how many, let me see, 6 to 7 months, I guess. I arranged 2 months in London, and then 1 month in Cambridge, 2 months in Manchester, and 1 month in Liverpool, and different internal medicine and pediatrics. So it was kind of divided.
So you just went to different hospitals.
So I did my internship there because I was seeking out.
Yeah, you wanted to get out of Turkey.
Yeah, I wanted to get out. I thought I liked England. It could be England.
Right.
And then what happened, we have to serve for our government because in Turkey, the schools are not so expensive for 2 years. And I don't know, right now, it's still going on. I have no idea. But they decide where you go. And it's usually a rural area, an unwanted area. It's a war area. It's a guerrilla war area. And that's where I went.
So it's where nobody wants to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On behalf, since, I didn't want to go and say I want to go there, right, because sometimes they give you offer. And then I went, I picked a place. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything prior. I went there. And then that summer, I went in, year, I'm trying to remember the year. 1993, right after I came from England, it was clear that I was going to go to this place, and my mother helped me move there, and there's nothing there. It's a hospital, and I'm the ER physician, and actually, usually they send you for a preventive medicine doctor, mm-hmm, fresh out of school, without any specialty training. So I was in the hospital. Still, I would be in the ER with not much experience.
Right.
So anyhow,
that was for 2 years.
That could be 2 years, but my mom really fought hard to bring me back to preventive medicine 1 year somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And otherwise it would have been. So I stayed there 1 year, and it was really tough. And that's
imagine.
where I was seeking God a lot there, praying. I've seen so many things that traumatized me for the rest of my life, and I'm not going to go into those details, but I wasn't ready to do autopsies, and there you were in the autopsy room, and someone to help you, but not necessarily the doctor. And I remember my mom, she visited me, tried to visit me often. And she used to panic when I was called, or I'm going to do autopsy and this and that. She used to go, "Oh my God, what are you going to do? How are you going to do?" My mom. And then actually, I remember, that's the funny story. I have to tell everyone this. I can't pass this. That she was giving advice to some lady. There's a waiting room. There's lots of patients waiting to see me. And then outside, and then my mom gives someone advice, and then the person says, "Who are you? Who are you to give me that?" She says, "I am the doctor's mother."
So I'm a doctor by handoff.
I know more than her.
That's so funny.
It cracks me up to this day.
Yeah. Could you imagine being in the waiting room and the doctor's mom being like, let me tell you what to do. Just skip all this.
I know better.
I know better. I gave her that brain. So clearly I have some of it. Crazy. Okay, so you did the year in the ER, and then you did the year in preventative medicine. So that was your 2 years that you owed to the government.
Yes, but when I was in the middle of it, my uncle lived in U.S. in Houston. And actually, he was in California. I take it back. He worked in NASA for a long time. He was an engineer, and then he moved back to here with his wife because his wife's family from Houston, and she wanted to be close to her family. So that's why. And then she's the one who sent me all the papers to apply for a lottery.
Okay, let's pause there because that's the part where, like me, when I heard it, I was like, the what? Because when here in the States, when I hear the word lottery, I think about
money.
A gas station, $1, and a scratch-off ticket.
Right.
That is what I think about as far as the lottery. But the first time you told me the story, I was like, wait, what? So explain what the lottery is in your country.
So in my country, it wasn't well known then either. It's a green card lottery for U.S. strictly. And at the time, every year, 50,000 people were accepted.
So one time a year.
This.
So one time a year, the lottery opens
and
they take like an application.
First, it is by luck, but they have certain conditions. You like this clear information about yourself, and it's a luck thing. If your name is picked up, and then the investigation part comes. They have to know. We have to have a high education. Your parents should have certain amount of money so that you won't become a burden in the United States, or or a thief, or
right.
they can back you up, and your criminal history, or you have any criminal history, anything. So that's an extensive one. But the first one is a
It's just luck of the draw.
And I didn't only stand for myself. I stand for my sister and her husband. They're both also doctors. My sister is a pathologist, and her husband was a pediatrician. And exact same copy. I sang, and then my Aunt Betty.
So hold on, we're not get ahead of the game here.
Okay.
I need more syrup. So here came the time of the year. Like, I'm trying to set it up in my mind. I'm trying to see this. So here came the time of the year that the lottery system is going to open. So did you initially go, oh my gosh, here's my chance? Or did somebody else say to you?
Oh yeah, you're right. I missed that. That's the important thing. My Aunt Betty found out because I have no idea about this.
Wait, you didn't even know about the lottery?
No.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No, not many people knew from Turkey. Maybe that's why my chances were higher.
So wait, let me get this right. So Turkey had at the time a lottery system for 50,000 people, but they just
Wait a minute. Every country has that. This is not just Turkey.
They still have it, or is it?
I don't know right now.
But during that time.
Yes.
Okay.
There's this lottery system. America says, I'm going to get from each country, there's certain amount of people, depending on what country it is. Maybe 2 from Turkey or 5 from England, or I don't know, something like that. Whatever. Yeah.
And 50,000 people. And then again, we're talking about when Serap was in Turkey. So at that time, they take 50,000 applicants, or is it 50,000 people go?
55. No, I think 55,000 people are accepted, if I'm not wrong.
So accepted means, we're going to just say that that's what we're thinking. So that means accepted means that you pack your stuff up and you leave. Is that what you mean, accepted, or is there a process that weeds out the 55,000?
Well, I think, that I can't be sure.
Okay, it doesn't matter because we got you.
Yes, and I hope I'm not giving the wrong information.
No, it's okay. It doesn't really matter because it still blows my mind.
It will, the same way.
So your aunt comes to you and says, hey, Sarah, there's this lottery system. And you're like, what?
She gave me all the information. She mailed it to me. And she said, you're going to do this, do this, do this. And then, if you win, you can come stay with us.
So had you been in communication with her telling her that you wanted to leave Turkey? Was this just random where she says, hey, Sarah, we think we'd like you to come to Houston, so fill this paperwork out?
No. She knew. We always wanted to, we didn't visit them, but my Aunt Betty came and visited us several times, and my uncle did too. And they didn't have kids. Mm-hmm. So, it's just they knew we wanted, and then she came up with this, and then,
So you get the paperwork, and not only do you fill it out for yourself, but you put it in for your sister and her husband in the hopes that all of y'all would get chosen.
Not necessarily, but jackpot, one of us might get it.
So y'all, this is Serap's heart right here. You see, this is what I mean. So Serap has an opportunity to put in a lottery for herself, but she's like, you know what? If I can't get it, maybe I'll put. Let's you.
Yeah, that's
you.
Yeah, some would say stupid. All my life, I've done stuff like that.
I don't think it's
do.
stupid. I think it just shows your character and your big heart, and I love it. But anyway, back to you. We're not worried about that. Back to you. So okay, so you get the paperwork from her and you fill it out.
Yes.
So what happens after that? I mean, I'm telling you, this is the best part.
I mailed it, and everything had to be perfect. That was the thing. If you make one mistake, they eliminate that. That's
out.
simple.
You're down.
And then my aunt Betty. I got the papers, and I called my Aunt Betty. Aunt Betty, it's accepted. What do I do? Of course, they give you everything in detail writing, and then.
But I'm sure it was a "what do you do" moment, because all of a sudden, if you flash back to being that high school or that college student who said, "I want to get out of here, but it's never going to happen." Like, how do you leave Turkey, right? How do I leave my family? How do I get out of this? It just became a reality that it could potentially happen.
I really didn't believe that it could happen, honestly.
What did your parents say? Like, were they okay with you doing
They
this?
were quiet. They were very quiet. My sister encouraged me. My sister, I was scared at first.
She's your older sister, right?
She's my older, 3 years older than me, and she says, "Sarah, this is one lifetime opportunity. You can't miss it." I said, "Farda, I can't see myself doing. I'm an overprotected person. I've never been away from my family, and my aunt and uncle. Even though I saw them several times, maybe through my childhood, that's it. I mean." It's a different environment, and
it's a whole different world.
Yeah. But, it wasn't so hard to say yes. I mean, I did. I mean,
there was something in I still
wanted to go.
Yeah, there was something in you that wanted
crazy
it.
enough to, yeah. I mean, and some people said, some of the people that know me, "Oh, Serap can never go there. And she will come back in 1 year later."
Right. So you do the paperwork, you fill it out, it comes back that you're approved, and then you have to go through all the steps of kind of like the interview process, right? So how long did that take, and what did that look like?
Actually, that's probably less than 6 months, I believe. And I was in Istanbul then doing preventive medicine, and I had to quit my job because you have to quit government job and leave, because once you quit, you can't get back.
Right.
Yeah. So, and my family, my father was awfully quiet. My mother was okay with it because my uncle is her brother.
Right.
So he's an honest man, and she was sure I was all right, but I don't think she thought long term. She thought, I go there,
and you'd probably come
maybe
back.
do some internship and something, and come back.
Well, that didn't quite happen. That didn't. Now that we know the whole story, that didn't quite happen. So tell me this. So you go through the process of 6 months, and then I guess, what did you get, a letter? Like, how did they tell you that, hey, pack up your stuff, you're leaving? Like, what kind of
a letter? I think it's a letter. It has been so
long,
but it's a letter.
Congratulations, you've been chosen.
Yes, and then you give you a certain amount of time.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, you have to. I can't remember that window, but you had to get in this window, otherwise you won't get your green card.
Right.
It's
so it's like pack your stuff up.
Pack your stuff up. Exactly. That's what I did.
And get on the plane or the train, and it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, just one way ticket.
Right. Yeah. Like, here, congratulations, but you're not coming back here.
Well, that's true. When you have a green card, you cannot stay. I forgot all the details, but you cannot go there and spend like months in Turkey and then come back again to enter the US just to keep your visa green card.
Right.
And not the visa green card. So, and I was happy, actually. I miss my family, but I was happy.
Yeah, because it was something you thought never was going to happen. Was literally happening from a lottery. Okay, again, this is not a money lottery. This is a person lottery.
And millions of people, all around the world. I mean, I think about America. Everyone wants to come to America.
Right.
And that's
crazy. Okay, so you get the letter, you have the time frame, you're packing your stuff, you're going. What what were your initial thoughts as far as like the excitement of moving, but also the challenges for you during that time, knowing that it's a done deal. Here's your window. Here's your card. You're leaving. Like, what was the headspace like? Like, what were you thinking it was going to be like? What were your plans? What was in your brain during that time?
Oh, all worries, because what am I going to do? Because I am going to live with them, and then I was in my mind thinking, maybe a few years, I'm there, and then maybe I study, and then get the board exams, and then go work as a doctor.
Because
right?
it doesn't carry
In
over
US.
that you're a doctor there.
No. Of course, yeah. You have board certified. They recognize my diploma, but you have to.
But you still have to take the exams.
Yeah. Step 1, step 2, and then there's the English test. And I think I took the English test just to make sure. I mean that I can do, which I did. And then I started living with my aunt and uncle, and kind of became like their
the child they never had.
They never had, exactly.
Okay, so I my mind can't even comprehend you getting on a plane, landing. I mean, of course, there's a long flight, but I'm speeding it up. But you landing in the U.S. and stepping out and going, oh my gracious. Like that had to be a bit overwhelming, I would think.
Well, one thing I forgot to say that's important. This wasn't my first visit. I forgot that I came for, I can't remember what year it is, but right after my education, right after England, before I went to east of Turkey, I came just visit my uncle and aunt for a little bit. That I forgot to mention. So
were they in Texas or California then?
In Texas. They moved Texas.
Yeah, but you gotta admit there's something different than visiting and being like, oh, this is a cool place, but that's my home and that's where I'm stuck. To getting off a plane and going, this is now my home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like this. I can't turn around and just go back.
Or you can. You just.
You're not.
You throw everything away.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
You can
going
go
to do
back,
that.
but you're not coming back again.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do that. No. Yeah.
So, as you moved into that life, you said like your hopes and dreams were to get established in their house with them, have your home, and then to work towards being a doctor.
Yes.
Here in the United States.
Yes.
So tell us what really happened. So what happened? You got off the plane?
What really happened? Yeah, I first it's good, staying with them, and then I'm the kind of person that I want to make everyone happy, and I was like going everywhere with them, whatever they are doing every time, whatever my Aunt Betty wants to do. So my days were passing, going. It was like that, filled with the things that she did.
Daily life.
Her daily life. I was living her daily life. And they were also, having their struggles. And I kind of found myself a little unhappy that also, I couldn't do much because my also uncle was becoming overprotective. And, didn't want me to drive. I got a driving license, but, we were going to get a car, secondhand, it's just.
It was almost like being a teenager again.
Exactly. Yes. And I was 27 years old.
Yeah. It's like being 16 again with somebody. It's not your parent, but they're trying to protect you like a parent. And he's never had kids before. So
yes.
So he probably feels really like he's got to keep you
because he scares me from
covered.
Everything. I mean, this could happen. This can happen, So I wasn't, one of the reasons I left Turkey, is I wasn't happy in the country, but also with my family that I felt like I will never find myself.
Right.
I needed that freedom to grow. And this was happening there again.
And here you are.
Again.
And it's happening all over again. At 27, though.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm.
At 27.
And I can't, there's no way I can go out. I can go work, but I tried. I wanted to look for a job, but who's going to drive me? They kind of live in the east of Katy, and the medical center is really, really far. And I mean, so many places I applied, and they say overqualified, or and I didn't take it very positively, but finally I met a girl who was in the UT housing, staying in the UT housing. She was from Cyprus. Cyprus is half south of Turkey. So she's from Cyprus, and she's in the medical center working, but she's not in the medical field. She is more sports related, and I don't know how she got into UT housing, but she's a student. And she had a roommate. She was also basic science research. That girl, I think she was a student, and somehow I could pay the rent 1/3, and I could be their roommate. So it was 3-bedroom, and UT Housing didn't have a problem with that. And then I started looking for a job. So I left my uncle's home. They weren't really happy.
I was about to say, was Uncle real happy about that?
No, they weren't. But at the same time, I had to do that. I had to be on my feet. And I started looking. I did in the hospitals translation. There were lots of Turkish patients, and I even did some medical students. I become the they practiced on me, examine me, or ask me questions, take history. Mm-hmm. So a little bit here, a little bit there, and then I was writing resumes and then sending and on the research, because the easiest thing was to get in the research, basic science research. But I didn't have any experience, so lab experience. I mean, yes, lab experience, but not like basic science research. So, well, it wasn't working. And then I finally started going and talking to people. Human resources getting a little aggressive. And finally, I find the job. Someone calls me, Dr. Sherman, his name. He said that he's looking for a technician. So with no experience, I'm a doctor. I mean, he was excited to have me. I was like, wow.
You were just thrilled.
I was thrilled. That's how I get into Baylor College of Medicine. That's how I started. And 2 years I worked. And then after that, I moved to another lab, which there was, by the help of a friend of mine, a good friend at the time. There was this investigator she knew. And actually, he heard that they hire MDs for PhD positions. So I had my experience, 2 years experience. And then I had an interview with her, and she decided to hire me as a fellow, postdoctoral fellow in Baylor College of Medicine.
Which is huge.
Whoa, it's huge.
That's huge.
It's huge. I was so scared again.
Well, I can imagine so.
Oh yeah, because basic science is not my area. It's like I'm going to go to school, become like a PhD. I mean, it was huge, and it was really, really hard. It's just I realized also that in the beginning I was so excited, but I'm not a research kind of person. I realized what I liked was to work on my own, to leave you don't have to always interact. But anyhow, I'm going to fast forward this part. So,
and so at
5
this point,
years.
so hold on. So at this point, still just living life, denomination, religion, none of that.
Oh, atheist. I'm claiming to be atheist.
So now you're full-fledged.
Atheist, full-fledged atheist.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so you said 5 years. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 5 years. It was 5 years.
You were at Baylor for 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
In the research?
No. I was 7, but 5 years was the postdoctoral fellowship.
Okay.
And then, of course, I was burning out. I didn't take the tests. I didn't have time because I was trying to learn, catch up, and then do the research and everything. I remember working 60 hours a week. I stayed really close, so I used to be able to go in the middle of the night. Sometimes I spend the night there, and it ages you. But and at the end, I was worn out, and I was dealing with depression, anxiety, and
was that just? Do you feel like that depression, anxiety was just coming from the way of you were living and trying to play catch up all the time and learn new things and be successful? Like, do you feel like
right, and also the people around me weren't very supportive.
Okay.
They didn't they weren't very helpful. They were,
right. I would think like everybody's kind
what
of
am I
out for
doing
their
with the
own.
PhDs and MD? What is the and you know,
Right.
and it's not my field. And
Right.
I said to myself, I made a mistake. Obviously, I should have found some other job. But anyhow, it's when you're trying to survive and you're trying.
Yeah, just trying to do it.
Yes. And then I mean, there are times I couldn't go. I had very bad migraines. I mean, it came to a level that 2-3 times a week I was having migraines, and I was taking medication, but it wasn't helping. And one day I told my boss, she called me, Sarah, what happened? Because I didn't show up. And I said, I can't do this anymore. She panicked. I wasn't thinking what she's thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how what I was coming out of my mind, my mouth. I can't do this anymore. I said, and then she said, just okay, just hold on. Let's talk about this. What's going on? And then, I mean, I explained to her later on that I think I won't be able to work. This is not my thing. I need to quit this job. And she wanted to give me some time off, just recover,
Right.
heal. But that wasn't helping.
It wasn't getting better.
It wasn't getting better.
The separation wasn't.
Separation
helping
wasn't getting better. And she was a very nice lady. I'm very successful, big lab, and I respect her. And I failed her. That's how I felt. I was, the way I started, and then the way I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
That's anyhow. But I mean, some of my anxiety and depression also that's coming from my experience in my family, and then my experience in the east of Turkey. I had post traumatic anxiety.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure all that was triggering.
That's also everything was falling apart, and I was having these panic attacks. I mean, even before I came to US.
Yeah, so you just brought it with you.
Yeah, I didn't tell them. Yeah. But I mean, for a while they were gone. You're happy, but when things began to get hard, and I'm an emotional person, and I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
I'm out.
So you quit. So you quit.
I quit, and she told me you can come anytime, if you want. And I said no. I'm just. Oh, but I got to tell you that I didn't quit. I got to tell you that I found the love of my life. I mean, in this period, like.
Oh yeah, let's not miss that part.
I mean, this is.
So while you're working at Baylor,
yes,
you meet a gentleman.
I met at the very beginning, the first and at the end of the first year, I think. Yes.
Okay, so
Actually, I started the job and then I met him. Yes, he's from Tango.
Okay, so Sarah tangos.
Argentine tango, not ballroom.
It doesn't matter. I couldn't tango to save my life. It doesn't matter which one you're doing. You're doing one of them. So I'm guessing like in the midst of finding a new job and a new life.
I had no life actually before I met him.
So you went to Tango. How did you end up at Tango if you have no life, Sarah?
Okay, but there was a PhD student. She wanted to try that and Lindy Hop. And we tried both.
And so any good friend drags another friend.
She got stuck in the Lindy Hop, and I got stuck in Tango, Argentinian Tango. Although I like Lindy Hop too. I tried later on with the Rice University students later on, but with Joe.
So she drags you to dance night, Single Life, and instead you meet Joe.
Yes. But I started getting lessons, and they have these parties, tango parties, they call milongas, and all throughout the week, and you can go dance and meet people, and and we're very, very nice people too. Usually the people, they go there, they're really family oriented, they're really nice people. Once in a while you come across to someone, maybe, but
right.
But they're really, really nice people overall.
So did you meet Joe night one of Tango?
One of the big Halloween tango parties, milongas, and he was in a costume. I gotta break it to you. He's Asian ethnically. He's from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, but he's in this Asian mask.
So wait a minute, Joe.
It's
Joe
like
comes
an
to a
Asian
Halloween
tourist
party, with an Asian mask, but he's Asian.
Asian, and yes. I don't know. In the beginning, he's this really funny guy, very, very smart, and just makes me laugh. And then, we were really having fun, and at the end, and he takes it off, and I'm like, oh my God,
you are Asian. How funny is like you meet him and all you see is the mask, he takes it off, and well, he's still Asian. Didn't change.
I think I love that. I think I like those sense of humor.
Yeah.
It surprised me.
It's really funny. It is really funny. Okay, so from there you start dating.
Okay, we started right after. Yes, we started dating, and then 1 year we dated. We got engaged next year, but that the first year I told my mom. I said, "Mom, I found love of I found a guy that I'm going to get married. This is my." He said, he's going to be my husband. He didn't even ask me, right?
Yeah, he hasn't asked yet, but I already know.
I was so sure that was him.
Like you just knew.
My life partner. And then, we got engaged. And then in 2003, we got married.
All the while we're still at Baylor.
And then we are living in West University, one of the small townhomes, the houses there. And we moved together, I started working. I mean, he was driving all the way to Cyprus because his job was here.
Cyprus, Texas, not Cyprus.
Cyprus, Texas.
We talked about two Cypruses. We're about Cyprus, Texas.
And I used, since we stayed there, so that because I used to be I needed to be close to
work
to Baylor College of Medicine. Yes.
Yeah. So now we've caught up that we've established relationship. We have a husband. We've moved out of we don't live in that setting with the roommates anymore, but you're you're struggling and you're married. So
big changes.
Yeah. So how did y'all kind of go through that together? Like what was he sees you having the migraines. He sees you,
Well, that was towards the end. Yeah. I mean, So was he we were married at least, a few years. We were really good and doing all sorts of stuff and happy in our marriage. And, we didn't have a kid. It didn't happen,
Yeah.
And we had fun.
So we had fun.
Dancing, a lot of dancing, and a
lot
of socializing. Yes.
A lot of tango.
A lot of nightlife.
Yeah. A lot of late nights because the tango guys.
Their dance night starts at 10. I mean, 10 is late, right? I mean, people
it's
don't
late
show
for me
up before.
now. It used to not be late, but now at 10 o'clock, I better be in the bed.
And I remember coming from the party and then, Chani, I need to go to the laboratory and I have to do this, and then come back.
Man.
But it aged me. It aged me both emotionally and, physically.
So when you quit, did he know that was coming, or was it like, hey, honey, I quit today?
Actually, he wanted me to. He said, why are you doing this to you? Because I can take care of us both. Mm. So he otherwise I don't know if I could.
Right. Okay.
I mean, he
That's
was
a big part of the story.
A part of story. Yeah, I'm not a good storyteller. You see, I don't go
in
the right order. I'm confusing people.
No, we got them. They're fine.
Okay.
So you quit. He's in support of that because clearly he wants you to be mentally and physically healthy, and he sees it's that this job is literally
took a toll
taking a toll on you in lots of different ways.
Yes.
In lots of different areas. So you quit.
I quit.
You're done.
I'm done, but I'm not happy because I lost my identity.
So now we're not happy because now I don't have my job.
Who am I?
Who am I?
Who am I? I'm Joe's wife.
Right.
And since then, I have been Joe's wife.
And just so you know, it hasn't changed. I've still been Joe's wife.
But I introduced him, to my friends. It's like my husband.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, but that's not necessarily true. You're not just Joe's wife, because how long between quitting at Baylor and now Joe's supporting, you have your town home, you're just doing the married life. You're the wife, he's the husband, goes to work, you do all the things that wives do. You had an addition. So when did the addition come?
Oh, addition didn't come for a long time, actually.
After Baylor.
Leaving
what happened?
Baylor. I quit. But one thing also. I mean, I kind of burned out. But that's one reason also that I wanted to quit. Also, quitting was. I mean, it made it quitting easier.
Yeah,
I forgot that. I mean, it wasn't like just I only break down. I wanted to get pregnant. And I thought that's missing.
Right.
You know, when you're not happy, you're looking something.
Yeah. You thought that would be
think
the
if
fix.
I have a baby, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And it wasn't happening. And of course, I was working with radioactivity and lots of chemicals. And you know, it has been in my mind for a while. How are we going to get pregnant? You know, I don't want to do this because you're exposed. You don't know what you're exposed.
You don't know what's getting into your system.
I'm really anxious when it comes to the chemicals, and then people make mistakes.
Right.
You know, sometimes
Accidents happen.
Yeah, accidents happen. So anyhow, so this was in my mind for a while, but also things weren't going. So everything come together, and I said, okay, full-heartedly, I said, okay, I am quitting. So Joe was okay with that, but then nothing was happening. I wasn't getting pregnant. I was getting more and more depressed. I came to a point that I wasn't even willing to go out.
Right.
I was so self-doubting and struggling. Of course, what am I going to turn? I felt like I hit the rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm diminished, and and my husband doesn't deserve this. I love my husband, and you know, I'm not the same person he met, and I didn't even like dancing anymore. Think about it. I mean, all my life I liked dancing, and especially I fell in love with tango dancing, and I somehow I couldn't get out of that depression, and then I prayed. Those are the years of prayers and suffering altogether. And finally, 2009, I went to alone Turkey for a vacation, and that year I was really working physically. For fitness, I was doing like 2 hours
of working
exercise,
out.
1 hour ballet exercise, the way the ballerines do. It's a tough exercise, and then one hour is what I have my equipment, like total gym, right?
Weight training.
So I was in good shape, and at the end of that year, I got pregnant. I came from that trip, and that trip I saw my family. I was happy and everything. So, I mean, I was kind of like, okay, I'm like feeling good.
Yeah,
I'm
in
not
a better
depressed.
place.
I'm in a better place.
Yeah.
None of my problems are solved, right? And then after that, baby took over. Adam
to
took over
children.
my life. It's only one child.
Welcome to children, Serap.
Yes, and then all the doubts. I'm not going to be a good mother, and this and
Well,
that.
you're also an older mother.
Older mother, and I don't know any better. I don't know who to ask. There's no
Right.
one to ask. No family here.
Yeah, you're just doing it by yourself.
And then Joe kept teasing me. We can't return this to the factory.
No, return to sender, not going to happen today.
And then I have postpartum depression.
Right.
Yeah, again, I was good for a while, especially the last trimester of the pregnancy. I was so happy. Hormones, thanks to hormones.
Right.
Yeah. After that,
I'm always happy the last trimester too, because it's about to be over.
I know, but I felt great.
Yeah.
The first trimester,
Lucky
I
you.
was vomiting, not eating, lost a lot of weight. But anyhow, so we are happy. We love our baby. We are still living there, and we moved to Cyprus 10 years later, so 2013.
So wait, 10 years after having Adam, or just 10 years after
10
being
years
there?
after being there.
So how old was Adam?
Adam's 3 years old.
And
when
were
we
you-
moved here, Adam is 3 years.
So here on this street.
On
in
the
Cyprus.
street.
Okay. I'm
Yes.
just making sure that you
Yes.
didn't go somewhere, a pit stop.
So,
Cyprus.
I quit, and I know that I'm not going to go back.
So like you've already determined that mothering is your new job.
Mothering, and I wanted that.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that, and I love that. But the crisis of being who I was still there. Well, it wasn't dealt with.
Yeah. It was just underlying.
Oh yeah, deep down, really, yeah.
So you move here to Cyprus
To
to have a family.
have a family because I love this area. We discovered this area.
Cyprus is great,
Cyprus
but
is
don't
beautiful.
move here because you'll hate it. Nobody should move here because they'll hate it. No, I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
and then his job was closer here, so
Yeah. So it was
everything
just
worked out
good.
fine.
It was just a good strategical move
Yes,
to
yes.
get out of the little town home, the hustle and bustle of like that area, and settle into more of a family type area.
Yes. And
Oh,
we
look
like-
at you growing up.
We like outdoors, and then everything was about Adam. Of course, I
course.
spoiled him to that, I still do. when you have at that age one child, that's what happens.
Yeah. So how old was Adam when y'all moved here?
3.
3.
He was born in 2010.
Okay.
He moved 2013. And then
And this is when it gets spicy.
Yes, 2014. We're
Still.
approaching 2014.
Okay, so here we are. I want you guys to understand we're still in 14, and you're still saying I'm still an atheist. Not, I mean, you're praying, but you're not.
I'm praying. I am not claiming being atheist though.
Okay. Oh, so we've moved on.
I quit my job. That went together.
So when
I'm agnostic now.
So now, okay, I got to keep up, man. So when you quit that job and quit that with those people in
Yes.
that chapter, so that went with it.
Uh-huh.
So it was kind of just came with the job.
Not really. I brought it myself because
I'm
no
just
one was
kidding.
talking about God or religion. I was the one like, I don't believe.
Right.
Like I had to say
Right.
something, right? I was.
Yeah,
It's bad.
you had to pick something. That's the one you picked.
Yeah.
So then it changes. So you come here and, but as far as in your marriage and with Joe, like you guys you're not going out and seeking anything religious. You're just still doing life yourself. Like y'all aren't in a church. You're not when you come here.
Right. And I had to tell you that I didn't care what Joe believed. I
didn't
never
matter.
asked. His mother, Buddhist. Joe went to Christian school. He's in Malaysia. He knows more about Bible or more about Christianity than I do. But we never talked, and he knew I wasn't believer. I wasn't a believer, and to me it seemed like he wasn't either. I didn't know. You see?
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that
yeah.
someone everything about that part you don't know?
That you don't know.
I don't know if he's
And
I didn't know his
even
heart.
past that, it didn't matter.
Didn't matter. I would love him
Yeah.
regardless.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got again that lost. I was lost, of course, started feeling lost again, looking actually for God and watching shows about, Jesus. I come across the stuff. I'm interested now, but still I don't know much about it.
You're trying to
It's
figure
kind
it
of,
out.
I'm trying to understand. And what got me is sayings, here and there you see, right? Oh, Jesus said that. Oh, really? Oh, that's beautiful. That's pretty much it. And then one day on our street, it is November 4th, and I'm out. It's still nice weather. You know how it is. It's not winter yet, and I'm out, here and there picking stuff in the yard. And then my neighbor Bambi. It has been a year, but we always wave each other, and I never had courage to approach anyone on my street to say hi because I was afraid that they're going to find out the ugly me, the lost me, that I, that's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
How I felt that doesn't have a job.
Yeah, so it looked good. As long as you stayed in the house, it all looked like a normal, everything's good.
Yes. And I have my child. I'm a mother. I was trying to tell myself, but something is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then that afternoon, late afternoon, Bambi walks over, and then hi neighbor.
And Bambi's a very bouncy, happy, big smile.
Yes,
you're not going to
beautiful.
dodge Bambi.
Yes, and beautiful, uplifting, confident. I mean, sweet, loving, and you can't miss her loving. Her eyes and stuff. It's like, oh my God, she's talking to me. She wants to talk to me. I mean, I was happy, but she was asking one of the first questions that I remember that, she said, "Serap, we have husbands, we have things we have in common. We have houses, and then you have one child. I have my kids, so and she was asking about my belief. He says, where are you going to be after you die?
You're like, great. My neighbor finally walks over.
No, honestly, I was trying to answer her question. I was thinking, where am I going to be? I mean, it was fear.
Right.
I whenever, because I think about that, that's to me, that gave me always anxiety, being nothing.
Right.
Right. And then after that, we began to, she started talking about God. She started talking about knowing Jesus. And I was listening. I was all ears. And everything she said, even though right now I can't tell you, I was like sucked into that. I mean, my soul was sucked in there. I was like, oh my God. Like something good news. Like, just very uplifting, very relief. I felt relief and hope. And I experienced the change within minutes to hour maybe in me, and to me that's supernatural. My perspective changing, something was lifting in front of my eyes, and
did you feel like because several times in your story you say that you didn't have an existence, right? Like you worked and that made you who you were. You're Adam's mom, but it wasn't enough. Like, did you feel like in that moment,
yes,
that it was whole?
Yes, similar to that. Yes, it's a joy. It is a joy. It's peace that I've never experienced in my life. I haven't, and I realized that, oh my God, I have never known this peace in my life. Is it this? How is that possible? How beautiful is this? I've been missing this all my life. We tend to go. I mean, I am that way. I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk other people, but negative, right? Oh, I have missed all this all my life. I didn't know about this all of my life. It's gone. Whatever is gone. Move mm-hmm. forward, right? But that was amazing. And she prayed. We held hands. We sat together. And I forgot about my son. She forgot about her dog. And I don't know. It's just, she tells the story much better. But on
the curb, literally.
On the curb,
On the curb in front of your house.
Yes. Part of the grass, yeah.
Not only did you meet Bambi, but you met Jesus.
I met Jesus, right. And I normally care about my surroundings. I watch what people think about me, anything, I'm a big city girl, especially in Istanbul. But I don't remember those times who passed by, what happened. The only time I remember one of our neighbors with the dogs, and a little incident there that I guess she was pointing out Bambi's dog, that he was loose, but they weren't doing anything, but they were just sitting with us.
Yeah.
I think our neighbor's dog wasn't happy, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember, and I was in awe. That's all I remember.
So how did that moment on the curb, because Bambi had to go home and you had to go in your house because, the conversation ends. So walking into your home, what was your thoughts? Where were you at in your head? Because if I know Bambi was probably come to church with us.
No, she didn't announce anything that. I mean, we just prayed and, I was God's child. I found about that. And then we wanted to go, but I couldn't get up. That part is very important. I can't miss that. I couldn't get up. I had it's not like your feet sleeping kind of. I couldn't get up.
She means from the curb.
Couldn't get up. My just paralyzed. I said, Bambi, I can't get up. She says, it's okay. Just it's fine. I'm like, I can't. I mean, I wasn't sure.
Physically, you couldn't move.
I couldn't. I wasn't sure she understood me.
Right.
Because you say, I'm I can't exaggerate things, but I wasn't exaggerating. I couldn't get up.
Seriously,
I couldn't get up.
She could not.
I could not literally
move
get up.
Her limbs at all.
Yes. And she said, that's okay. Sit here for a while, and then we sat and talked a little bit more. And we were talking about, I was seeing all this light, bright, and then the next thing we look is dark.
Yeah.
And we were, her perspective is different. Similar, but I was just seeing all this light on her. And then she was saying that there was light on you. And then we turned around, there's no light.
But there was, this wasn't like a light, like the sunshine was shining on you.
It's very bright, like daylight.
Right.
And then we were trying to figure out, and she said, that's Holy Spirit. I'm like, Holy Spirit? Because I don't know Holy Spirit.
Yeah, like what? Holy Spirit, what?
Everything is new to me. Think about it. That was the Holy Spirit, Serap. And, you know, of course, since then, she has always been trying to teach me, guide me, give me books, you know, mentor me. And she took me, of course, next time to Met Church. And that's how and this is my first church, and I'm still there.
Yep.
I don't know any other church.
This is a one-done deal, guys.
I love my church.
And I know it feels like we're probably fast forwarding, but that's the journey that you started was being in relationship with Bambi and her, like you said, mentoring and teaching and pouring and sharing.
And her love.
Yeah, and just the way she
Someone
loves.
can love me like that.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know me. She doesn't know all the things, my failures. She loves me.
Yeah.
And then she tells me that God loves me.
And she's modeling God's love of that. It doesn't matter where you've been and what you've done and your failures or who you think you are. Mm-hmm. We have a Heavenly Father that still loves you and is pursuing you.
Yes.
And desires to be in relationship with you regardless of all of that.
That was amazing.
So she's amazing. She's literally modeling that to you over time. Now, I don't know. I wasn't here then. Like, I'm not sure how long the gap is between you having that moment with Bambi and accepting Jesus and then I got here.
That was 2014, end of 2014.
Okay, so we came in 17.
Yes.
Yeah, in 17, so 4 or 5. Doing math on my fingers, 1, 2, 3. So 3 years later. So let's talk about that 3-year period. So did you start going to church during that 3-year period? You're taking Adam? So you're just going by yourself?
By myself.
So what did Joe think about this? Like, because you went from none of that to like, here's my neighbor Bambi. and now I'm going to go to church with her. So was he just kind of like, oh, whatever.
He didn't even say whatever. That day he came and actually he totally left us alone. I mean, I remember the vehicle passing by and he never came and bothered. And then Adam was 4-year-old all by himself. So all that stuff to me, it was taken care of. But I told him straight, I said, I became Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I think that's what I told him.
Did he just look at you like, okay? Did he say, what was his reaction?
It was like that. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. You know?
Yeah.
He shook his head and he didn't say much.
Yeah.
What was he going to say? He's like...
But then you started journeying. So that 3 years was really just journeying. So, like I said, having Bambi as a friend and her pouring into you and encouraging you and sharing, and then you going to the Met. So then, of course, being in church, you start learning and hearing.
Right. And then I said that he didn't come with me, but maybe the very first time or, you know, then after that, of course, I'm not going to leave Adam, and Adam is that young. And so he was tagging along, of course. Mm-hmm. He was coming and he was supportive, and I was so surprised.
Right.
And to this day, he's more, he gets ready before me.
Yeah. So now if we fast forward till we moved here, and of course, all this has already taken place. We're not here. We moved here, and that's where when we met Bambi, we met Serap, and they started telling us about the Met, and because we were church hopping because we didn't know this is so much of a bigger place than what we came from. Right? We came from like Podunkville, and this is like holy moly. Wow, a real city. And so we were trying different churches to figure out. And so Bambi, as soon as we moved in, y'all, we were getting the furniture off the truck, and Bambi meets us at the base of the truck, and she's like, "Hey, y'all, where are you from?" And what do you do? What are you looking for? So we stopped, and they brought us a huge case of water. They brought us dinner. 2 hours later, they show up with a full-fledged dinner. Like, y'all been working hard. Now, where do you go to church? And we're like, we haven't found a church. And so she suggests like a church we should try. And so then, we meet Serap, and all of a sudden just a whole bunch of love in one moment. And we're like, wow, okay.
They're friendly neighbors, actually.
We have friendly neighbors. And so, and Bambi actually, what's crazy, I'm sure I've told you this before. Bambi asked me, what did I do? And I said, well, I had just graduated couple of months prior with my doctorate in education. And so I was looking, the long-term goal for us was that we would get settled, figure out our bearings. We had to walk through some other things too that we didn't know at the time were going to be what they were. catch that in episode 1, 2, and 3 of season 1. But that needed to find a college, but we were going to take time because I had no clue I didn't even know where Walmart was. Like, how was I going to find a job? Like, I didn't know, all I knew was where my house was. I had no clue how to get anywhere else. I didn't even know how to get back to Alabama. Thank God for GPSs, right?
I was going to say that.
Yeah,
we had the GPS.
Yeah, so
then,
like
right?
Bambi's like, there's a grocery store here and a grocery store here and a grocery store there, and they're really close, and I can help you figure all that out. And I'm just like, thank you, because I'm completely overwhelmed by life. But I tell her that I'm going to look for a job, and she says, "Oh, well, don't you know there's a college right down the road at 249? It's a UP campus, Lone Star." I'm like, "What's Lone Star?" And so she tells me what Lone Star is. My son actually applies there. And a year later, I only knew about that because of her. A year later, I apply and I get a job there. And so like it's crazy. I always think about her when I think about that opportunity, because she literally she didn't mention anything else.
I did not know that.
Yeah, she didn't mention anything else.
Didn't know
There's lots of things here. There's Houston Community College. There's huge college. I mean, we're college world here, junior colleges. True. But she says this one. And I'm like, really? She's like, it's just 10 minutes down the road. Like, you should try that. And of course, I'm in the mindset of getting settled and the problems that you guys don't even know we have because you haven't really met us yet.
Yeah.
You know, the problems we're about to unleash on y'all. But it's just crazy because she not only did, like, she guided us to church, but my very first job here, the yes I got was from her also saying, hey, here's this. Did you know? Here's this church. Did you know? And we showed up at the Met, and we haven't left for 6 years. So like, yeah. So Bambi, that's why we mentioned Bambi in the beginning, because Bambi has been very instrumental in a large portion of things in my life, and certainly your life, because you guys have been in a relationship longer. So let's talk about after the 3-year period, because now it's been 7 years. Can you believe that? We've been here for 7 years.
How about 7 is my number? I mean, that's God's number. I love that number.
7 years. And so much has changed in 7 years for all of us.
Yeah.
Life does that as you move along. But I know that in 7 years, like if I look from a different point of view at your life, meeting you 7 years ago, that in the last few years, like your faith in your family and your faith, your involvement in church, it has taken on a whole new meaning in your life.
Finally started growing. In the beginning, it was baby steps.
Well, isn't that how life is? You're a baby and you have that period of baby steps, and then you learn to like walk, but it's a little shaky. And then you go from walking to running, and you go from running to everything else that you can possibly imagine. Like that's childhood development. And I think that's a lot of spiritual development too. Mm-hmm. There are phases of that. So reflect back over the last couple of years and tell the listeners how things have changed in your Christian walk and in your life, and how you view things now, being 7 years. We're saying 7 years from me being here, right? You've been here 10 years. So let's say 10 years since the time Bambi and you had that moment. Where are you now? And what does that look like?
Well, where I am is I am in a beautiful place, actually. I still have my struggles. Don't get me wrong. Every day another struggle, but I have my faith, and it's growing and growing. And this last 4 years, especially this last 2 years. I mean, it's just, of course, there will be. I mean, there has been improvement, but this last 2 years, I don't know, blows my mind. I'm not a very socially comfortable person around people, and I can talk about my faith. I can talk about God with people that I come across to, and I feel His peace, and I understand the meaning of serving to people, to friends, and doing things, and just it makes me happy. And I understand intentional discipleship. At Med, I went, and in summer I went to this course to a cadre they call, and I understand the meaning of discipleship. And I am trying to put it, adapt my life. And I mean, I want to be a disciple. I'm a disciple for my son, but I want to get better, and I want to be a disciple for other people. And I am right now a apprentice for a small group leader, and I'm going to a small group. And next year I'm going to start my small group. And look at me.
Oh my gosh, that's like, you heard it here first, people.
I mean,
you hadn't even told me this yet. That's amazing, Sarah.
Yes, and I don't know how. I mean, right now it's like, you know.
Y'all, she means that, because if you would have known her 3 years ago, 4 years ago, she would have looked at you and said, I'm happy with this. Like, I'm happy knowing God. I'm happy learning more about God and entering into that. But I'm not interested in being a leader. Like, I'm not interested
because it's not my personality.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, I mean, all of us are called to be a disciple.
Preach,
Jesus said that go to all nations and make disciples and baptize in the name of Jesus. And so my mission in my heart is spread this word to my sister and her husband, my niece, and my other nieces and nephews in Malaysia. And that's the hard part. Family, dealing with the family.
It's not just family. It's the hard part of being a disciple, period. Family, I think family is hardest because of the close connection, and there's a stirring about wanting to spend eternity with the people you love. Not, I mean, clearly with God, but making sure that they're there with you in the presence of God. And so that makes it hard, but it's still hard with strangers. I mean, I would guarantee you there's somebody listening right now that's going to hear this, and the Holy Spirit's going to put somebody on their heart. They're going to have the opportunity to share, or they have had the opportunity, or maybe they dismiss the opportunity, and the Holy Spirit's going to stir again. And it's scary. Let's be honest. It's scary.
It's scary, but you have to be on the same page with God, walk with God. You have to have the Holy Spirit by your side in you. And it doesn't always happen. There are times I dismiss. I find ways that I fell off the wagon, and
I fell off the wagon and it was rolling over me.
I struggle,
but
and then I realized,
do.
Yeah, we all do. But I can come back, and each time it's faster because I also have my good friends around me. I have you, I have Bambi, and I have my support group. That I lose my hope.
You have somewhere to go to and
yes,
and talk and say, hey,
yes,
here's where I'm at, here's what I'm feeling, and then people can pour into you. Because honestly, we really all live the same life. We have mountaintop moments, we have valley moments, we talked about this morning before we started podcasting. We have our triggers, we have the things that the enemy knows. He knows
so well
what to do. To get you out of the right headspace, or to pronounce a fear, or to do whatever to try to snatch you out of the hand of God, right? Mm-hmm. Because that's ultimately what we know is that is his mission.
He wants to break everything beautiful, everything I mean that, but also that you're doing something right.
Yeah, but at the same time, if he's after you, he wants
to destroy your sand castle. You build it and boom.
Yeah, and there it goes. I just thought of, oh my gosh, y'all, this is my life. I just thought of a Bluey moment. There's a Bluey cartoon that just came out in season 3, and my kids love Bluey, and if I'm being honest, so do we. It's pretty much all we watch at our house. Where Bluey's little sister Bingo builds this little. It's not a sand castle, but it's like she finds a stick that looks like the head of a bird, and it's a body of a bird, and she makes this sand bird, and she loves it. But she goes over to play, and some kids come up and they just kick it. And in that moment when you said that about the sandcastle, I saw the Bluey episode, and I thought about that. That's really what it is. We build this thing up that looks so beautiful and great, and then and it looks like it's going to be perfect and it's going to fix and fit, and then God allows Satan to knock it over. But when it knocks over, my experience is when things knock over, when things look dark, when they look horrible, when I think there's no way, is that I really see that that's where God presses in and does his best work.
I agree.
He just, that castle that I thought was beautiful and perfect and everything I ever wanted, he puts it back in a manner that is immeasurably more than I can think or imagine. And I go, I wanted to settle for so much less. I wanted to settle for a bird with a stick head, But he gives so much more. And And I mean, it's just such a testament to your story of living in a life of looking for so much more. You had Baylor. You had the lottery that you won. I mean, you hit the jackpot literally.
It's all him. I've been asking to find him, so there you go. He sent me here.
But it's true. It's all a part of a bigger plan. A bigger plan. And he gave you such a testimony that you can go back and say, look at all these things, but I was never fulfilled. I kept searching. There was something missing. I struggled with all these areas. And it's not to say that those areas still aren't a part of your life. We all have struggles, but you struggle differently now because you have faith in a God who has shown you what he's capable of. And if he's capable of that, how much more, right? How much more can he do? He just pours out blessing upon blessing, even in the midst of hard times of life.
The only thing he asks, just obey, just stay,
just be obedient.
Keep me in you, and I'll stay in you.
Yeah. And sometimes that feels like a really big ask.
because we are caught up in this world.
Well, and we have our own, like, the scripture says about, you can have, this is Miranda version. This is the Bible app Miranda version, is that it's cool that you have your plans, but I think they're funny. That's real cute.
Yeah, I know. You said that before. I love that.
Yeah, that's real cute and all, but let's get serious. Let's come on back over here. We got some real plans to deal with. I've lived that. You've lived that. I know Bambi's lived that. And pretty much everybody that's been on this podcast to this point has lived that. That's real cute. You're a bird with a stick head. It's really cute and all, but we're going to go through some stuff, but you're going to be better. You're going to be better. Like I said, I don't know how I missed the announcement of, I knew you were doing the apprenticeship, but I didn't realize that next year that would possibly be you stepping into a leader role. And that's huge. That's huge, of taking on your own group and bringing people in to facilitate and love and pour on. Like 4 years ago, if I told you that 4 years ago, you'd looked at me and told me I was a nut job.
Also, I wouldn't be doing this interview either.
No, you know what? But that's funny you mentioned that, because when you said that about the small group, when we talked about the change, the first thing I thought of is, Sarah, if this podcast would have been happening 4 years ago, if I was where I am now 4 years ago, she would have never considered this. Like, you would have told me flat out no.
Yeah, I did it on the Met Church too.
Yeah, she did. She was on the big screen at the Met Church.
Yeah. And I don't know how I said yes. But you see, that's God.
Right.
Just I said yes. I'm like, what have I done? Oh my God.
Yeah. But it just shows what God can do within us.
Oh, yes.
Because
it's not us.
Where we think we're less than, or we're too weak of, and that's not in my ability. God says, we'll scoot over because it's in mine. And through my strength and through my encouragement and my power, you can do these things.
Everything is possible through him. And it sounds grandiose to people who don't believe.
Yeah.
But to us, no. Once you feel it.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm looking to see if there's anything else that I was trying to think. Yeah, I got one for you. It's the one I have for everybody. How could I forget it? What advice would you give to others who may be seeking to deepen their spiritual connection or find faith in their own lives? What would you say to them? Like, if there's somebody right now listening going, oh my gosh, I understand what she's saying. I feel that missing thing too. I just can't get it. I just can't get to it. What would you say to them?
I can only tell through my experience what worked for me, that I prayed, I asked, knocked the door, asked God his help, asked for faith. And he's going to show it to you. He's going to make it happen, and believe. And if you're already believers, you're still struggling with things, I would say still read God's word. If you don't understand, go to Bible studies, or surround yourself with people who know, who have faith, and love on people. Love on people, love on your friends, and the people you don't know. Try to love on them. It's sometimes very hard to. And I keep struggling too, just like anyone else. But, at the end of the day, what also makes me really really happy that I know I've done something right and show someone so not lovable. I love that person, and you don't know what it might do to this person who might be so lonely or so miserable, and he might be taking or she might be getting it out of you. And be kind. It's so hard nowadays, but that's what my advice is, and I'm telling myself every day.
Yeah, because you never know what opportunity is going to lead. Like baby, I don't know that baby came to your house that day with that intention, right? She probably just came to be kind and to extend to like, hey, I'm your neighbor. But look at what God took that moment of, I'm just going to follow the prompting to walk over there. And look what God did with that.
The opportunity. So
much more than just the, hey, I'm going to introduce myself as your neighbor. You might kill me for this one because you might be like, why didn't you tell me this beforehand? Is there a particular scripture or something in the Bible that stands out to you as something you've leaned on or placed like your staff down as an anchoring?
Well, actually, the one that I was trying to tell you, that one that go make disciples of all nations. And I think that's Matthew.
Yes, Matthew's the Great Commission.
Yes, that's one. And I mean, I have so many favorite ones. I mean, I have this online Bible. I keep highlighting
the Bible app, man. I highlight the mess out of the Bible app.
It is really really hard. I mean, I won't be remembering. But this is the recent thing is in my mind that I have to make disciples. That's just Jesus said, and love your enemy.
Yeah,
those are really beautiful to me.
So looking back right now today, looking back at your life before and then finding faith, finding Jesus, how would you describe, what is the biggest change or transformation that you would say? Like, what's the biggest thing in you that goes, yeah, that right there could be nothing but God? Like if you had to pick out of all the things that have changed and been tweaked and grown in you, what is the biggest one that you just go, totally God?
Well, I would say that would be kind of private, but that would be
She'll
changes. No, someone else is going to kill me. But my husband, that right now he's in a small group, and we talk about God, we talk about faith, and how much he grew. And I've been praying for him so hard, and I want to be a Christian family who raises our only child, Christian, a good Christian. And so I mean that's my dream really, and it's happening. It's with God's pace. I learned to be patient, but and also another thing is that I value myself. On and off I go and then complain about my things that I don't like about myself, but I can see myself more and more through God's eyes, and I think that's a big transformation for me.
Oh yeah,
at who I am,
it's who you are in Christ.
In Christ, yes.
Yeah, not who you are of your own abilities and past failures.
That's human part, yeah. I think that's amazing, and I want to grow more. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Listen, like I said, I know you, and I get to talk to you all the time and be a part of your life, but I'm still stinking excited.
Yes. Look at me now. I'm not going to go and do a lot of roll.
I love it. And
the rest of the day.
So as we wrap up, what I hope you have found this week is that if you can relate with Serap, where you're just trying to find your grounding, right? You're trying to find your place. You're trying to figure out what's missing in life. That you look at maybe that's God offering an invitation for you to move in, to step in closer to him. And maybe you're not sure, maybe you're like, I don't know. This job over here right now, it's made me happy. I'm happy right now. But what you're going to find is those things are temporal.
Yeah.
They do last for a season, and some seasons are long. Some seasons are short. But if you're finding that you're always back at that place, I would just encourage you, like Serap said, maybe it just starts with a relationship. Maybe it starts with being open to that neighbor or that friend who's been trying to talk to you. And maybe you've been pushing them away or hiding from them because you don't want to hear it. Like, oh, here comes the crazy Bible lady or the crazy Bible man trying to take me to the crazy Bible church. Maybe just be open to having coffee, just hearing their story, asking them, you know what, why don't you tell me about your God and let me hear.
Yeah.
Just starting there.
Yeah.
If you're on the other end, if you're a person and you feel there's somebody on your spirit, maybe just having the faith to put the action behind what God's asking you to do, not being fearful to share your story, looking for the opportunity, asking God to give you the opportunity to be kind to someone and to let God interweave that divine appointment to where you have a minute to share who God is to you, and asking them. I mean, Bambi was pretty bold. Where are you going to go? Like she went in hard, man. She didn't tiptoe around it. But I think the Holy Spirit gives us words in those moments, and He knows the words that need to come out of your mouth. So maybe if there's a person on your heart or mind today that you just enter into prayer with God over the course of weeks and months, maybe years, that He gives you the opportunity and the words so that it's not you that gets the glory for that. Like Bambi was the vessel, but we give God the glory because He set that appointment up. Yes. So, and if you're out there totally going, well, who is this God person? And I don't really understand. And I don't even know how to get in a church. I don't know how to be in a relationship. All this stuff sounds great, but I don't know where to start. You can always reach out to us at www.steppingforwardfwd.org. We have several places like contact forms, prayer requests. We would love for you to reach out to us and let us help you find a church family. Let us tell you more about God, send you some information. Whatever it is you need, we're here to help you step forward in your relationship or even to develop a relationship with Christ. So I hope today was inspirational to more than just one person. Clearly, to the person who's wanting to be a disciple, who maybe doesn't know how to do that, who maybe has fears of stepping out and taking the leap of coming out of your comfort zone. And then maybe to the person who stumbled across us today, who's searching for that, to fill that empty spot. I think there's something in your story for both people. And I think that's what makes your story so great. That, and besides the fact you won the lottery of people, like that's amazing. But even that, like even looking back on that, like God ordained all of that.
Yes.
To bring you to this moment in your life to be the best you through Him that you could be. And man, who does that better than God?
He's great. He's awesome.
He's amazing. The whole thing's amazing. So Sarah, thank you for coming today. I know that even though that you have more courage to do this, I know there was a little bit of anxiety probably leading up to this. Leading up to this moment. So I am just so appreciative of you sharing your inspiring story of faith and transformation, and then telling us what God's doing right now and just being honest about that you still struggle with things. You just struggle with them differently through the grace of God and the mercy, and that you are learning every day. Yeah. Every day you're becoming. There's no end to it. Yeah. And there's not going to be. Here's the spoiler.
You're going to get better and better. That's all.
And you get stronger. And unfortunately, there are valleys. There are valleys even in a Christian walk. There are dark times.
Ditches.
She said, "Forget the valley, go to the ditch."
There are ditches too, but you come out.
Yeah,
with
but
God,
you come out. But
God on your side.
I saw somewhere that it said valleys are great. I mean, mountaintops are great for joyous moments, for big, exciting things to see Jesus do and God move. But valleys are where you grow the fruit. And I was like, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. That's where growth. That's where growth happens. So even in the ditch, you can grow. And I think sometimes we have ditch moments with God where He's pressing in and trying to refine some things in our spirit, refine some things of our past, and to build us up so that when we get to the top of the mountain for that brief little moment, that we really see the glory of God. But we've seen it the whole time. We just magnifies because we came out of the ditch and He's done something transformational that only He can do. And I just love that. So guys, again today, thank you for coming and listening. Make sure you come back again next week and check out our next episode. I just want to encourage you today to continue on your journey of discovery and renewal. I want to let you know that Jesus loves you Easter's about to come. And so in this season before Easter, my heart always really starts to draw back to God sending his son to die on a cross for our sins. And I know my sins. I know the things I've done. And I'm always every year taken back that I was loved so much that somebody would die to cover those and to give me an eternal life with him. And I'm just so grateful for that. So as you guys get closer to Easter, I hope that you take a moment to really think about what Easter is and what it means. And here's the plot twist. He rises. So keep that in mind. So guys, have a great week, and we will see you soon. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of Southern Soul Chats. We hope you found inspiration, encouragement, and valuable insights to carry with you through your week. We invite you to subscribe to Southern Soul Chats so that you never miss an episode. We are a branch of Stepping Forward Ministries, a 501c3 Christian nonprofit, and we kindly ask for you to consider making a donation today. Your contribution will play a vital role in sustaining the podcast and allowing us to continue sharing these impactful stories of faith. As you leave today, remember your story is a part of a bigger narrative, and your faith has power to guide your path. Keep stepping forward with hope, trust, and assurance that you're never alone. This is Dr. Miranda Ferguson. We hope you have a great week and keep stepping forward.